So the Destiny Alpha is over and I'm just sitting here wondering what to do with life. And I'm like, why the fuck not make a review about Destiny Alpha? So this is an alpha review, it's not final like the game. Obviously Bungie's gonna change a lot of things as they go. And like the game, like to help the game be better. This is kind of like pros and cons and providing feedback so that they can make a better game. Yeah, let's start with the good things about the game. I really like the loading screen. It's clean. It's moving. You're not staring at a picture for like 5 minutes. And the loading is not too long. About 1 minute. It's perfect for bathroom break. I realized, like, the only thing that's weird about the loading screen is that I don't know why the loading screen for the tower is so much longer than the loading screen for the old Russia. I mean, old Russia is like a million times bigger than the tower. Whatever. I mean, it's still fine. And I like how you can go to orbit kind of like just as a default screen. When you're not doing anything, you just go to orbit and you can go anywhere you want. I like that. Another thing I really like is the teammates in this game. I don't know if it's just me, but teammates in this game seem to be a lot better than those of other games. We play as a team. I haven't seen anyone acting by himself or being a dick. And I like how Bungie encourages revives by shooting the teammate briefly after the revive so that they don't die. And I like how the more you revive, the more likely your teammates are gonna revive you. So that's really like a positive feedback loop, and I really like that. It makes playing strikes so much more fun, even if you're dying again and again and again. One great thing about the Destiny Alpha is that it has a great map design. It's not gonna change that much from now till the final version of the game, because it's map and stuff. I like how it's divided into sections and areas. It makes farming enemies so much more fun and efficient, I guess. Because you can just farm one area, move on to the next, blah 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 blah. And I like how the environment is diverse. Like, I don't know how to describe it. There's like one section where there's like a dam, one section with like big open area. There's plane crashes and stuff. I don't know how to describe it. It's diverse. That's all I can say. And I like how like there's many objects, but not too many objects for us to enjoy in the environment. So I'm talking about things like trees and like random cars. They really like spice up the environment, and there's not really too much of them that they deter you. So that's really good. I also like how it's massive, and yet there's almost no streaming issues. By streaming issues, I'm of course referring to the issue where objects just fail to appear in the screen. I haven't seen that much, so that's really good. Also, the tower provides a really good change of pace, and the vendors, especially the gunsmith in the tower, he has some amazing things in stock every time you visit him. It's not like Marcus in Borderlands 2 where like it's all shit basically. The vendor actually sells good things, and it's really nice. After a strike or after leveling up, you go to a tower, you get your new gun, and then just go rape some enemies. I like that. Speaking of enemies, I like enemy designs. They emphasized on enemy designs a lot in the previous videos. By they, I mean Bungie, and they obviously did a great job on it. I like Devil Waker, wizards. I really liked Septic Prime, even though it's annoying as fuck. It's fun. All AIs are smart, but they're not too smart, and the AIs have patterns that you can learn. And once you learn how to fight a specific enemy, after a while, hunting them down becomes enjoyable and kind of like organic, I guess. And feels natural and doesn't feel boring to do again and again and again. So that's really good. Also, the attacks are relatively easy to avoid. I'm saying relatively. I have some cons about this later. Basically, most of the enemies fire slow bullets. It's not like Call of Duty-esque. You fire a bullet and you basically get hit. And I like how they give a lot of audio and visual cues. For example, whenever Devil Waker is shooting like a big ass cannon or something, it makes charging sound, so it's coming. And also shows you where it's firing with the laser. That makes gameplay kind of more fair. You know, it's not like Borderlands 2 shit where like, oh my god, the enemy just one shot killed me. Now let's talk about some gameplay. The headshot multiplier in this game, it's amazing. It is satisfying, and the extra damage makes it really worth it. Like, I think it's almost like twice the base damage, and I don't know, the headshots really seem powerful. Speaking of headshots, the auto aim really allows me to shoot at enemies well, and you know, even score headshots repeatedly. It's like literally the best auto aim I've ever experienced. As a terrible console FPS gamer, because you know, I only like playing with mouse and keyboard, so you know, I usually suck at FPS games with controllers, but in this game I was able to actually, you know, not just shoot at random blank space, because the auto aim is really good, and it also provides some tracking, so even if your enemy is moving, you can just literally track your enemy, keep scoring headshots, and kill them. And it's really smooth, that's good too. And so far the scaling is good. The scaling is good to level 8, I guess, but I'm not sure how much it's gonna go to, and I don't know how good or bad the scaling would be in higher levels, because you know, as in Borderlands 2, the scaling was pretty good for the first, I don't know, 30 levels, and then after that it's just like, what? I really hope Bungie does scaling really well. It's an important aspect of the game. So far it's really great. And I also like how teammates can drop in and drop out, and I like the presence of people, you know, even if they're not fighting with you, just the fact that they're right beside you, like they're in the same map as you, is kind of like comforting, I guess. Playing with teammates is fun, and I like how the gameplay is really hectic. Like just by putting more enemies, you know, Destiny can give me a really hectic battle. You know, unlike other games where developers just put more enemies and it's just bleh, it's just not fun. But in Destiny, a lot of enemies equals fun. I don't know why. It feels really hectic and feels fun. And also leveling up is enjoyable, as it should be. I'm looking at you, Borderlands 2. Leveling up is enjoyable. It gives you benefits. I like the skill points for the most part, and it makes farming XP even fun, you know. I don't know how to explain this. Farming XP is fun in this game. I never thought I would say this, but I did. Wow, amazing. And Destiny Alpha has true next-gen experience, you know, it's not like Watch Dogs, cough, but you know, the graphics, AI, gameplay, they're all next-gen, and it's really refreshing. I don't know, like, it's good, that's what I'm saying. Let's talk about some characters now. For Hunter, I like the golden gun, I like the concept, I like its double jump, especially when unlock the precision double jump, I think. Basically, you can dodge everything. That's amazing. And later on, you can even unlock triple jump, so that has huge potential. Also for the Titan, I really like how it's really melee focused. I like melees. I like Titan, and I like the fast cooldowns in Titan. Like, every other class has pretty long cooldown. For Titan, cooldowns are pretty fast. The special ability cooldown, the grenade cooldown, the punch cooldown, they're all pretty fast. It allows me to use those skills more often. I haven't played Warlock yet, you know, sorry. I can't comment on it because I haven't played it. But I have one more thing to say, and that is that I love strikes. I didn't play Crucible because I know people on online multiplayer games, especially first-person shooter games, are ridiculously good. And I'm not gonna just let myself get raped. I'm probably gonna rage, but strikes, they're fun. It's cooperative, it's epic, and strikes give me a big adrenaline rush. Fighting big enemies together as a team, it's really satisfying. Now let's talk about some bad things about the game. First of all, I mean, it's not bad, it's kind of like feedback. First of all though, I would like to have a way of saying thank you. You know, maybe teammate made a hard revive, you know, like just rushing through the enemies, even when they're shooting at their teammate, you know, just revive me, and I want to say thanks. But the most I can do is just wave at them, you know. I want to have a way to say thanks in the middle of battle, you know, especially when they're good and supportive teammates. You know how I mentioned scaling as one of the pros? Well, there are some issues, you know. I hope Bungie would fix it. First of all, the tomahawk of the Hunter, I know that's not what it's called, but it's basically tomahawk. It's really weak after level 4 to 5. It's kind of worrying because, you know, obviously Destiny's max level is gonna be somewhere around 20, 30, 40, and you know, the fact that I'm already seeing scaling issue here is a big, you know, no. The Tomahawk does not even put a dent on shields. That's really worrying. You know, I usually use Tomahawk only for finishing off if I can't reload. It's that bad. I mean, it is satisfying, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's not strong enough. Fix the scaling, please. Also, Tomahawk's pretty much useless against randomly moving enemies, you know. They're the bane of Tomahawk. I just can't hit them. Maybe someone else can, but that's one big bad thing about Tomahawk. And oh yeah, I was about to mention the shotgun and the standard rifles as part of the scaling issues section of this review, but I learned that after playing Destiny Alpha for 8 more hours on Monday, that for shotguns to be effective, you really need to get close to the enemies, which is good for Titan class especially. And you know, assault rifles, I mean, I figured out that if your gun damage is too low, you just gotta farm for a stronger one, you know, visit the tower or kill some more enemies, go to strikes or something. Once you get a powerful assault rifle, you don't need anything else. Like, yeah, that's really good. That's not a scaling issue, you know, that was just me being lazy, so it's not really a con, it's not really feedback, it's not really bad. I just thought I would mention this. Another scaling issue is that some gun types do barely any damage and it's problematic. I mean, it's level 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, and some guns already not doing damage. That's a big no-no. Some gripes about the Hunter class, it's way too weak, you know. I mean, for Crucible, sure, the Hunter class is the go-to, I guess, but the upgrades in the Hunter class, at least in the Gunslinger subclass, is really not that great compared to the other classes, you know. Cooldown in Hunter class is way too long. You know, despite considering feature upgrade that will reduce your cooldown, it's still way too long for normal combat uses, you know. And I think it should be, the golden gun should be at least 2 times stronger, or the cooldown should be 2 times faster. One of those would be fine. Also, the golden gun has only 3 shots. It just, meh. Especially considering that the shield eats the first 2 rounds, while the Titan special attack literally rips through shields and leave 1/3 the health of the strongest enemy. And you know, the thing is, Titan's special attack is also area of effect attacked, but while the golden gun is just, you know, you shoot at one enemy and one enemy only. I know there's future upgrades that allow enemy shot with golden gun to explode, but you know, for lower levels, Hunter class is not really great. I would suggest maybe put more shots into the golden gun, maybe. Also, one thing I would suggest for the Hunter class is that they should provide us with damage reduction while I'm using the golden gun. You know, it's really frustrating and not fair getting killed while trying to use the golden gun and trying to aim, you know. It's bad. You're not rewarding the player for, you know, using the golden gun. While using the golden gun, you should feel powerful, not just, oh my god, I gotta take cover while the timer's running out. You know, that's bad. Another little feedback, I guess, is that shields are way too OP. You know, shields literally eat bullets. They have no headshot multiplier. They have insane damage reduction. It recharges literally continuously in legendary strikes. And shields generally have way too high of a capacity. So nerf shields, Bungie, I'm looking at you, nerf shields. They're way too strong. Okay, and this one's both pro and con, but in many cases enemies respawn way too frequently and it's really annoying. For example, in the Divide, when I clear the area, you know, there's another group that respawn and I just go kill the other group, while another group of enemies respawn right behind me and I get shot from the back by snipers. That's not fun, right? Respawns are really fast. I've heard everyone complaining about it. Sometimes it's good, but you know, I hope Bungie would tone it down a little bit. Now, moving a little bit away from the gameplay, Bungie needs to make looks a little bit obvious. For example, loots. White shiny orbs, that's not really obvious, especially when there's so many flashlights on the map. You know, I can't really see clearly. And speaking of loot, this is a big one. for a first-person shooter with MMO aspects, you know, loot is a big factor, and I have some complaints about the loots really. For one, tougher enemies should drop better loots and more loots. Like, I killed Devil Waker about like 10 times now, and they haven't dropped a loot a single time. Like, they didn't even drop ammo. Like, what the heck? Games should reward players for killing the harder enemies, you know, but they don't drop any loot. I guess, why am I killing the big enemies in the first place, you know? So reward the player with more loots, especially for the tougher enemies. Here's one thing that gets really aggravating when facing tougher enemies, you know. Remove useless debris from the environment. Like random pieces of metals on the ground, you know, and I can't backtrack while the tank is shooting at me and I'm dead instantly. It's annoying. Like, remove shit from the ground, especially useless ones, the ones that get in your way, instead of, you know, augmenting the environment. Like I said, the random pieces of metal is just one of the examples. Now this one, I'm not sure if this really deserves to be in the con section, but I don't know how to use the third weapon. I gotta be honest. Like, it's most likely because, you know, it's the alpha and they don't want you using the third heavy weapon, I guess. But I didn't see any option to use the heavy weapon. I don't know how to activate it, so, you know, make it a little bit more obvious. Other things Destiny must make more obvious is that since there's tons of mechanics and ridiculous amount of stuffs you can do, Destiny can really do a better job to help explain what you're doing and what kind of stuffs you can do. You really gotta help explain the game to newer players. Enemy sensor don't really work always. Also, it would be nice to have an indicator that shows whether an enemy is above you or below you. Another issue I have noticed is that there's server lag. I mean, you know, sometimes enemies don't take damage even though I'm shooting at them, you know, and then 2 to 3 seconds later, it has moved. And this is a big issue, especially with the Devil Waker tank. I'm just shooting at its leg, but it's not doing any damage, and the Devil Waker is just staying still. And I'm like, what's going on? And then the Devil Waker suddenly moves because of the server lag, and I just die because it released a Nova attack. So, I mean, it's an alpha, you know, so I won't worry about this too much. I hope that Bungie looks into this, because it is a big issue, especially for an online focused game. Now, I've already covered enough about making things obvious, but there's one more thing Destiny needs to make obvious, and that is the paths. You know, some parts of the map have unintuitive paths, you know. You kind of don't know where you're going, or like, you know, the arrow points it this way while you're supposed to go to the right, blah blah blah, you know. So make it more obvious to navigate, you know, make it intuitive. That's what I'm saying. Basically, you can give some cues for players to move a certain way, you know. Obviously pointing an arrow to the straight ahead while giving a path to the right is not an obvious and intuitive way of directing the player. This is one issue I've noticed. Sometimes dead enemies just stand there with like 10% health left and they're invulnerable. I've noticed this since Saturday, so the second day of beta, I guess. I don't know what is happening. It's not too bad, but just kind of distracting for like one wizard to just stand there and I can't even kill him. He's not attacking us, but you know, just the fact that he's there kind of makes me paranoid. I don't know when this calmness is gonna end, but you know, I gotta give as much feedback as possible to Bungie to make Destiny the best game ever. Now, one feedback is that, you know, make the materials of the guns carry more significance, you know? Maybe make the materials display the rarity, the parts of the gun, etc., like it did in Borderlands 2. I think Borderlands 2 did a great job with the materials. I like the armor material. It's really unique for every player, and it shows what kind of upgrades they have on that armor. Now, this is a big one. Some skill upgrades, I don't know what you call it, like the skill points, I guess. Some of them are really laughable, I guess. there's a lot of weak skill upgrades, and that's a problem especially in the hunter class. It's just the gunslinger subclass, but I don't know what it's gonna be for the rest of the hunters subclasses for hunter class. But at least for the gunslinger subclass, there's a lot of weak skill upgrades, and I don't know why. Like every other class has strong upgrades, especially the Titan. For example, training in hunter, there's more negatives than positives, you know, and there's a lot of conflicting upgrades, while, you know, training in Titan has all positive traits, you know, and the benefits are far bigger than those of the hunter class. So, you know, hunter class, make these skill points more useful, okay, please. Now, I've mentioned that the attacks are fairly easy to avoid in the pro section. However, some of the attacks are very unfair. The attacks should be more fair and more dodgeable. Like the shots are slow, yes, but curving shots and shots that are, you know, following parabolic pathways, they literally follow you and hit you even if you're behind a corner or a barrier or a cover, you know. It's kinda unfair. If you're behind a cover or behind the corner, you know, it shouldn't be able to hit you. It's just my 2 cents. And there are some unfair melee attacks, especially associated with the hives. Even the Titan can't handle it. And when there's too many enemies at once, you literally can't dodge. It's like not Black Ops, but it's like Borderlands 2, where, like, you know, I have no idea where the hell I'm getting shot from. And especially in doorways where enemies are all shooting at you, like in that section into strikes leading to the Septic Prime section, you know, that doorway when all the enemies are shooting at you, you know, you can't go out and shoot, you know, because you're gonna die literally in a second. That's bad. Make attacks more dodgeable, please, and encourage freestyle player a bit more. One gripe about exploring in Destiny, you know, teammates are far and few between, and they drop out too, and, you know, after like 5 minutes I'm playing by myself again. You know, it's kinda disappointing. Also, there should be more freaking public events. It's one of the advertised features of the game. Feature it more frequently. I played this game for like, I don't know, about 20 hours, and I've seen only 2 public events. Like, at least 2/3 of the 20 hours are spent exploring, but I've only seen 2 public events, so that's yeah. One big problem here is that there's massive damage reduction going on in some enemies, up to 1/3. So basically, your gun's doing 1/3 of the damage it should. That's not fair. Lower the damage reduction a little bit, or make headshot multiplier way higher than it already is, you know, for those damage resisting enemies, to make it a little bit fair. You know, big problem with this is, you know, shielded enemies and Septic Prime. That's really big. At least for the Devil Waker, you can shoot at its legs and you get straight up 1/2 damage reduction. But 1/3, man, that's way too far. Also, place more random loot all around the environment. You know, materials, boxes. You know, drop a bit more walled drops. You know, make enemies drop a little bit of weapons and stuff. You know. Also, one gripe about weapons is that weapons are pretty much all the same. There's no special effects. The diversity is a little bit bland. They all look the same. They all perform the same. There's not much difference between one rifle and the other, besides the, you know, rate of fire or the damage. I mean, not damage, magazine size. You know. Okay, one thing about Titan's action skill is that Titan's special ability effectiveness drops off quickly with distance. So it would be nice to provide a rangefinder of some sort to indicate where the hell you're hitting with your gigantic strike, melee strike, you know, because like I said, the effectiveness drops off quickly with distance, and you don't want missing that strong enemy by like 1 meter and then not doing the maximum damage as possible. Maybe put a cycle indicator where you're supposed to land. Maybe I think that's a good idea. one thing about Hunter, make the jumps a little bit longer or higher. Even considering that there's a triple jump, the jumps of Hunter are kind of like lackluster. Okay. One thing I don't know why they just omitted from this game is the lack of map. Like, why did you not put a in-game map? Why can't I access a map? Like, it's the world is freaking huge, and why don't you include a map? Last con. Whoa, I thought this video would never end. I don't know why they do this, but it's mind-boggling. Show me the damn gun levels. Levels of the gun. Show me what level is this gun I'm holding. Why don't they show me? I don't know. Just add it, Bungie. It's simple. Do it. Now for the final verdict or conclusion. Obviously this is still alpha, and the point is to, the alpha is to fix by user inputs like this video, to fix the game, make it better. The alpha is still very solid, not gonna lie. It's still better than, Battlefield 4 a month ago. And the good thing about the game is that whatever happens, it has fundamentally fun gameplay, Even if gimmicks run out, it's still fun. It's not like one of those other games where the gimmicks run out and it's not fun. The sound is amazing, both soundtrack and sound effects. That's not something people really appreciate a lot, and there's a few flaws that can be easily fixed. I hope I keep messing up. I hope Bungie can do this, especially the ones I mentioned in this video. I hope somebody from Bungie sees this or something. Probably not, but whatever. I guess the conclusion or the takeaway is that I've never had this fun playing a video game in a while. I thought I lost fun playing video games, but this Destiny game kind of corrected me. It's also the most fun I've ever had in like a year or two. Thanks to Bungie for bringing this fundamentally fun game. For bringing like fun back to my intense, stressful, and depressed life. It's good to have fun back in my life. I'm just looking a lot forward to the beta and the actual game release. And it looks like Destiny is headed to be, the biggest game in a long time. Definitely Game of the Year material. It's definitely gonna have high sales. Maybe it might even be the next Call of Duty. Hopefully this time it doesn't suck. So I'm waiting for beta, and when that comes, you guys should play with me. Add me on PSN. It's James_AJ, and maybe we can play Strikers together. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.